What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tapping into another episode of the Mindful Moneymakers podcast, where we break down all of the mindset shifts you need to make if you want to live a life by design instead of by default. Today, we have a very special and unique opportunity to share an experience that I have been in for the past couple of months. This is one of the most monumental experiences that I could ever imagine even having. And it involves family of all things, right? What's more important than family? Today, we are talking with Miss Umoja Vaughn, my Mimi, my grandmother, my lineage, my blood, my energy, my spirit, my vibe. You already know. So this is a very special episode for me as we talk about what it was like to really dive in to her story, her life story, so that we could put it on paper and create a legacy for Mimi. How you feeling?
I'm I'm so excited. I'm a little bit anxious, but I'm ready to do this. I want to share what I've just learned, and the experience is awesome. So it's let's tell the story.
It's a beautiful thing. And where it started was a conversation about, you constantly you want to pass down information. You want to pass down your experiences because you know how valuable they are in helping other people through their lives. And that's something that I've noticed about you is very important, especially when it comes to family,
Yes,
right? So with conversations around that and realizing that we are limitless beings, it comes down to a question: why not? Why not put it in a book? Why not share it in a tangible way? And I remember I made a promise. I said that by the time I'm done, everybody's going to know your name.
yeah, yes, you
And
did.
that was the decision and the commitment that I made energetically and both in the material world to manifest this book, and we got right after it. How exciting is that?
That was awesome. That trip in itself, it's like I'm doing this with my grandchild. You know, my daughters came and they grew and they started their families, and I've been so blessed and favored to be able to live to see my grands grow into adults, start their own families, start their own lives, and to actually share professional experience, all draped in love, about who I was and who I am. And one thing that brings loudly to me is that when your elders are here, that's why they say it's so important to get to know your grandparents, because they got a library in their heads. The experiences that they learned and they grew through, you would never know unless you ask them. So that when your elders get to be, later 70s and 80s. I know when my mother was alive and she was like 89. Yeah, well, um, sorry about that. Um, when mommy was like in her late 80s, um, we all knew when we had gatherings, we better start talking to Aunt Louise, that's the cousins. Let's talk to her and ask her about this, because we don't know all the siblings that she had. We don't know about our grandparents, her parents, and how everybody's connected to. So and so had how many kids? And and who was that? Oh, that's Uncle so and so. But you have to get that information from your elders before they leave. Try to gather as much information and legacy you can, because that's your connection to who you were and where you came from. And they always say you don't know where you're going unless you know where you're coming from. So this is important. And I thought the privilege and the opportunity that we were blessed to have. Not only did I get to write my story on paper and turn it into a manifestation of a book, but I got to do with my grandson. So as I said to you, now you know me better than anybody else, because I've shared stuff and stories with you that I haven't shared with anyone else. And the only way they can even get it is to read the book.
Ooh, yes, indeed.
Yes,
And it's powerful, and it's such a powerful experience because I know that it's reflective for you, and it's building a relationship with yourself, but it's also helped me build a better relationship with myself, knowing where I'm coming from and where
yes,
because to me it's the mindset. So I'm obsessed with diving into the psychology behind it, and I know that things are passed down
that's right.
psychologically from generation to generation. So being able to be in those shoes and see that perspective and understand what evolved into my mindset and my perspective
Absolutely.
is you know top of the list of things that you can experience, I think.
Yes.
Let and speaking of what I think,
Mm.
let's drop the name
Oh,
of the book. What's the
oh,
name?
the name of the book. Yes. What was I thinking? Control your mind, control your world. And that title came between my thought and my grandson's thought, so that in his endeavor to bless the world and bless those that come toward him, he's been doing an awesome job on helping people to hear themselves, to know themselves, to trust themselves, to be themselves. And that is controlling your mindset. You are the domination of your own mind, and we got a lot stop others from controlling our mind. And that's been happening. When I first came, I had a blank slate like everybody else. So that whatever my environment, what I came into is the beginning stages of what shaped me to be who I am. So, by the first part of your childhood, basically, you are something happening to you.
Mhm.
Not so much that you have any control. Although there are some thinkers that you already determined your own existence when you came here. You already picked your own parents when you came here, coming from a spiritual quantum leap kind of metaphysical experience. But just staying on the physical realm, we come with a blank slate. We know nothing of nothing until it starts being poured into us. So, um, a lot of things that we do along the way, it's all about what's in your mind. What is your mindset? Why did you do that? And the big journey is to figure out why you do what you do, how you do what you do. It
Mhm.
all comes from what were you thinking?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And that's such a powerful message because I think it leads to the liberation of a lot of people who haven't seen all of the options, all of the perspectives, all of the powerful relationships, the powerful aspects to relationships that they could have with themselves. They could have a mindset coach in their own head,
absolutely.
guiding them. They can tap into an energy uh, with their intuition where they
Yeah.
don't have to worry about their next 10 steps. They can be sure that they're guided. So, being that that's an important message, why do you think it was important for you to write a book about it and get that across?
Well, number one, I was inspired by my grandson, Talmadge, you. Um, I had the desire, and I always write because I am a writer. Just I am a writer, and I put everything down. I say to my children, don't throw my papers away when I leave, because I got jewels and nuggets written all over the place. Because as I listen to documentaries, while I do any kind of research and search for information, I put it on paper, and it's put on paper and put to the side. I already deposited inside of me, but it doesn't necessarily come out automatically. Things might have to happen to trigger the thought, you know what? I did write that. It's so I put things down, and I wanted to share all of what I've been blessed to learn. So when you said, let's do it, let's write your story, and you were so enthusiastic about it. You were so uh, determined. And it was like my confidence built from your ability. We can do it. Let's do it. It can happen. And working with you to help me follow my guts. I can do this. I want to do this. And I had you as a coach, as a backup. And it was so many pluses. It's like I was stacked. The cards were stacked in my direction for this to happen. I had everything in place. The words were already in place. The knowledge was already there. And my ability to actually write it and put it down was the easy peasy. Although the process was not as easy as I thought. Because when you begin to put down your story, you're plagued with, how much do I say? Do I tell it all? Are there some truths that I should hold back? Do I need to tell it all? And then you have to, and then you can get it's my lifetime in 72 years. There's so much happened in my life. This book doesn't even catch it all. There's no way it could catch it all, because each incident has its own story. It's like a backdrop to every little episode. And so if you're going to tell it, then you got to stop it. Well, what happened was, when you start from that point and bring the whole picture in, that is one little big old episode or chapter in itself. And if you did that, every little episode that you've had in your life, we got an encyclopedia.
Yes, indeed.
Because there's so much. So I was inspired by my grandson. I had a desire all along. And I think that is important. It's almost like having a vessel filled with water, but you never use it. So with all the stuff that I've learned and everything that I've gained, I have to give it to somebody. I don't need to go and just take it all with me. So that I think I was one of the chosen ones. I'm a chosen one to share my experience. I was given the equipment, the tools, the skills, the gifts to bring it. So that's why I say I'm a chosen one, because a lot of times we have dreams that we cannot make. Although I think that, everything you need is there to make your dream, but maybe somebody's not in the background saying, you can do it.
Right.
I'll help you,
Absolutely. And it's a pleasure and an honor to have the opportunity to be that, that energy, that light, that support, I want to celebrate you. I want to just pour into you real quick. Yes, indeed. Let's I think anybody listening right now might be ready to kind of get an insight into what is in the book and what they have in store, what we have in store. What are some of the experiences that you talk about in the book?
Yeah, some of the major things, like I said, there's so many little, after I have even written the manuscript, excuse me, things are now coming back to memory. Oh, I didn't talk about that. Oh, I forgot about that. Because again, once you go on the journey to research or to recollect, you're going to pick up the major ones and hit you right in the face. And for me, the major ones was child molestation, alcoholic family, well, my father, and what it did to the family and what it did to him, actually. Being on drugs. Look, starting off with the whole desire to go and save the world, to make a difference in the world. And that journey took me smack into hell, and I'm like, okay, this is an underground cultural thing that I need to experience. Apparently, that's in my reflective days. That was not what I was thinking when I was going through it. But apparently, the path that I took from the the foundation I worked, I came with or was put on me led me to those choices that I made. For instance, being molested as a child, um, you're robbed. You're robbed with so many things. Number one is your innocence. I mean, that reminds me about the Adam and Eve story in the garden. It's like once you lose your innocence, there's no going back. You can't go back to not knowing. You can't unring the bell. So once something happens to you that puts you in um, a position of figure it out, you know, um, you're now making choices and decisions based on the impact of that tremendous experience, trauma, um, basically trauma, because it's something that it wipes away levels and stages that you still need to experience to enjoy or to feel that other thing. But somebody comes and throw you right into it. It's like somebody throwing you in a pool of water and you don't know how to swim and you're screaming and stuff, but something inside me like, flap your arms, kick your feet. That's the DNA and stuff is in there working. And that spiritual guide is working. You don't have any idea. And all you can see is that you fear for your life, you're scared, you're all of the terrible experiences. And what happens when you come out or if you survive and you make it, your foundation is based on a lot of fear. Your foundation is based on uh, uh, lack of confidence. Your foundation is based on um, not knowing, what to do. But you learn in the process is either swim or die. And for some reason, because of the spirit guide, the ancestors, from everything that's there for you, whether you realize it or not, is there to pull you through. And as I can look back and today, I say, I always had a spirit guide. I must have, because guess what? I love who I am today, but I didn't know that I was going through the course. I didn't know that I was being shaped and molded into the diamond that I am today. At that time, I just, I don't like myself. I'm I'm a bad person. Um, Guilt, shame. This is all that was left. That was the what you call the side effects of that experience. And nobody knew. I didn't even know that that was the deposit, like you say. What was the takeaway? That was the takeaway from that experience. And so it took a long time to get back to the root of when it all started and the impact that incident, what it did to me. So then I talk about teenage pregnancy. Um, I talk about the ebbs and flows in my experience. Apparently, I started out with, like I said, the fruit of the spirit. I was smart, I'm intelligent. People would recommend that, they would say those words to me. Oh, she's a smart little girl. Oh, you're so cute and you're intelligent and people get addiction and all these things. So I started with those pieces. But then when the tragedy happened, those pieces sort of like didn't go away. As a matter of fact, I think they were the pieces, they were the pillars that kept me afloat while I was going through the other nuances of new things that I wasn't prepared for. So the takeaways are from those experiences coming out of a car crash 2 times, meaning that when I lost total control, someone, something had me in their hand, and I was still protected and being lifted up because I can't think of anything I did personally to overcome it, but I did. So I begin to learn that we come equipped to be who we are going to be. our potential, everything is in there. You cannot uh, you can't get a package to do some artwork and you need a paintbrush, you need a canvas, you need the paint, you need um, what other instruments or tools. But when you get the package, everything you need to make that painting is in there. Everything we need to become our true selves, our potential is already in the package. We come with it. Somehow we get lost from it again, depending on the impact and exposures that we get. But I believe that it's not necessarily a negative or bad journey. It was the journey set for you, is what you needed to go through to become whatever it was that, is already set for you to come. So
Right, right. And you had
I
the
don't,
and you had the gift throughout the entire darkness, right?
all the time, all the
It was
time.
a ebb and flow. There was the ups and downs, and I think you've been through some pretty tremendous, some significant downs that I can't, personally relate to. So if you did that,
Right.
so I don't have to, then
No,
thank
no,
I
you
gotta give
don't.
you thanks. But let me ask
Right.
you this: there are
Mm.
some also, your range is pretty big, from the lowest of lows to some of the highest of highs. What are some of your proudest achievements that you talk about in the book?
Um, well, it was an honor for me to all through. It's like my high was before I got exposed to the subcultural world.
Hmm.
And those highs were, I was always able to be rubbing shoulders or connected with what the society would say big people, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and I just discovered in my writing, and to be honest with you, that Percy Sutton was Malcolm X's lawyer. Malcolm X is one of my honored leaders,
Hmm.
that, and I listen, I think a lot of us respect his teaching because when he came to bring us, he came to us, our
Hmm.
people. It was our confidence needed to be built. It was our mindset that needed to be changed. I always make that comparison between him and MLK. Martin came, he's trying to hit America's consciousness. Malcolm came to hit our consciousness. And so people saw them as two opposing things, but those two things had to work simultaneously together. Because while he was trying to get America to soften up and that's a Pharaoh move, unharden your heart. And Malcolm was saying, like, don't wait for that sucker to do anything for you. You can do it. You're capable. You're God. You're chosen. And that's what was robbed from us
Hmm.
as we grew. So Percy Sutton was the mayor of New York City, and I was able to connect with him and get him to come and be a guest speaker for me. And the way it happened was that was the spiritual journey. The way I'm working with a group of kids. Well, I wouldn't say kids because they were young adults, and I was teaching it. Well, I wasn't actually teaching; I was a coordinator for Washington Business Institute in New York City, and I was the student activities coordinator. So all of the activities, my job was to keep the kids happy. Come on in, keep coming, so that you can come and get your academics, but school can be a joy as well. And so I helped to coordinate those activities, which means I did a lot with the younger people, talking to them what they like and what. So I was their rep, if you will. And the experience that I gained by these various groups that I seem to have formulated along the way helped to manifest Mr. Sutton. And that just talking about groups throughout my lifetime, I realized that I always had a village. I always had a village, even in my craziness, because even though I'm coming back through, coming out of the deep,
Hmm.
I had to come to a village. I had to have a group of people. We need to be supportive to each other who also understood. your plight. So I had that group to help me bring Mr. Sutton to one of the activities that I had coordinated. Um, um, Al Van, who was a very political stronghold in Brooklyn, I got a chance to work for him on a voluntary basis, but it was a joy in my life because, like, again, the energy in me to pull people together. I have this kind of gift that I can create atmospheres and comfortability with people so that I'm able to talk to people and make everybody feel good and comfortable. You know, I have a gift for that. I do believe that as I've been doing it all my life, but now that I reflect it, yeah, that's what I can do. Um, so Dick Gregory, I was able to get in touch with him. That was my first experience. I wanted to plan a community activity like a townhouse or a big event. And I had to go search for him. So I was online and trying to find a celebrity and whatever. And I got directed into going for Dick Gregory, talked to his agent, told him what I was trying to do. And they gave me the price and said, yeah, are you available on that date? Yes, we can come. And I thought my head was spinning. I'm talking to an agent for Dick Gregory and I'm gonna get him. But I gotta get all this money. And so I had to raise funds, and it was an awesome experience. There's some mayors, black mayors, because there was a time period when black mayors was being elected all over everywhere over the states and stuff, and we had a black mayors event that I was a part of. Um, I got to be around people who themselves had been successful, people who recognized me, like they had to talk to me, they had to address me, or I was in a position to say what I needed, like when I invited Percy Sutton, then I would say, well, we need you here at such a time. This is where you're going to sit. I was the one to make sure. As a matter of fact, Minister Farrakhan, I had a chance to set up a experience for him in Coney Island, which I don't think I even give it the credit that it should have been given in the writing. But yeah, Minister Farrakhan and his NOI members came to Coney Island and they had to look for who? They had to look for me. We were my sister, thank you, sister, and get them set up and get things in place. So I had a chance to, I want to say, feel the dream. I felt, but it never did make me feel I was better than anybody else. I just felt that I was quite blessed to have that exposure and that experience. So I can't, as we talk, made something else fly by, but Jesse Jackson, I had a chance to rub shoulders with Jesse Jackson, who in his prime he ran for the president twice. I got to be around somebody that think they could do that at that time. So it was great, Um, but yeah, so I had a lot of good experiences. Then I did a lot of marvelous things. Um, and I had a child early. And I'm not that different from most of the young ladies in our society today. We have a lot of teenage moms. But I think some of the things that's different is that I came out of an era when, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is what it is. When I came through, it was like, I just did the worst thing in the world. You don't have a child out of wedlock. That's just, you don't do that. And you certainly don't have a child while you in school. You got to finish college or finish at least high school or whatever before you begin to, explore those avenues. But I must have been a rebel.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Like, we're gonna breathe into it.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So, um, I'm hearing the range in your experiences, and I'm seeing so many valuable points and gems already just in this interview right now that I can take and move forward with. I want to appreciate you for that. I want to thank you for that, for showing up and sharing your story both in the book and on this interview, because this is ridiculously, tremendously, monumentally valuable,
Wow.
and I'm super grateful. Um, I want to let everybody know that's watching this right now that a link to make a pre-order for the book
Mhm.
would be phenomenal. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I got to take that again. Um, I want to let anybody on the pod listen. I want to let anybody on the podcast. I want to let anybody listening right now
Mhm.
that there's a link in the description of this video to place a pre-order, and that would be a phenomenal support for us in making this legend a reality,
Yes.
and passing on this legacy and passing on this information so that it can pour into other people, uplift people, show people that what they're facing isn't the end of the road. um, so we will be including a link in the bio, or in the description, where you can place a pre-order for $30, and we'll be getting that over to you right
Yes.
away. We super appreciate it. Everybody that does jump on and support, and I also want to acknowledge the growth that's in store
Oh
for
yes.
you, for consuming this story. And before we jump off, before I let you go, I
Yes.
gotta ask you. Go
Okay. Go
go
ahead. Because
ahead.
I want to say, regardless to who, if you find time to read this story is one that transcends culture, and it transcends age. Because either I can help you before you walk that path, or I can let you know that it doesn't matter how long it takes, you can undo what's been done.
Mhm.
And it's important for you to understand, once you get a sense of, I love me, hopefully in your journey, there are people that surround you and remind you that you are worthy, that you're enough, that you're special, that you're awesome, that you're beautiful, and that you mean something to them. Because those are the covers, those are the blankets thrown over us to help us build our self-esteem. And there is no direction that you're going in that cannot, you can make a U-turn.
Mhm.
You can take an exit. You can go over the bridge or you can go under the bridge, but you don't have to stay where you are. And that's the most important lesson that I want to pass. And my story may not be exactly like somebody else's story. Obviously, it can't. But the pains of loss, the pain of victimization, the pain of overwhelmingly stuck, the pain of feeling isolated, neglected. All those things are human conditions. We all experience them, and different episodes might bring them into our lives. But I'm here to let you know that today I have no regrets of even the robbery of my innocence. I have no regrets for any losses that I've had. I have no regret for the mistakes that I've made. Why, you say? Because I love who I am today. And I'm here. And I'm like, I would be somebody, I would ask me to be my friend. Because I'm a good friend. I'm a good person. I've learned a lot and I'm able to share it. And thank goodness for my blessing that the shame, the guilt, all of that's been passed away. Because, first of all, that's what society said I should have felt. But now that I know who I am and I know what my journey is like, and I know how you're going to climb this journey, That all that's fun. You step on a rock, you might slip, but you're gonna keep climbing the mountain. Or you might slide down the mountain, you're gonna grab on and start pulling back up. It's a part of the process. The process, if you stick with it, the gem that you're gonna become is awesome. No, everybody don't have no terrible story and tragedy. Bless you. They don't have no tragedy to say, I came out of that necessarily. But guess what? Whatever your lessons were is what you needed to learn. And that I think as we go further into this new ascension of love, the more you understand yourself, the easier you accept somebody else. You won't put on somebody what you don't want on yourself. I'm not going to judge you because look at what I came through. You understand? So I think my book will help you to understand that let it go, let it all go, and move forward. And that it is just a sprinkling, it's all part of the ingredients. And it's an Afrocentric writing because that's my experience. But in my writing, I have discovered that there are a lot of Caucasian people that was in my life at the right time to push me forward to where I went. So no, I don't have to. I mean, I talk about the hardship of being Black in America or melanated, but I need for people to understand that everybody ain't screwed up. There's some people, some angels, guidance, or whatever you want to call them, they're your protection is all set around. You know who's going to bring it, how it's going to come. But from the universe, you've already got those. And the flavor and the color and the shape and the age is not going to matter because they all have their own special assignment just for you, just for you. And everybody has that just for them. So I'm hoping that the book will be an interesting read. I believe the book will hopefully encourage you to keep going, and also most of all, take the time to reflect. Reflection is a good thing. It's no more than if you have to write an essay for a school, you got to sit down and read the paper again. You can't just write it one time and throw it out. Sit back and reflect. You say, oh no, this paragraph, this change. Your life is like that too. Things you've made mistakes in or you're going the wrong direction can be corrected, can be changed, but it can only be changed through your doing. Nobody else can do it for you. And I think anybody from 16 to 80 will enjoy this read because I also try to include all of the events of what was surrounding me as I grew. For 70 decades, we went through a lot of stuff. And 2021, we're still going through a lot of stuff. Right today, I'm not as bothered as easily as I used to be. And this is a good example, no matter who reads it or who's listening. I remember if somebody called me a nigga, I'd lose my mind. You know, you just want to attack and you want to curse them back out. And you MF. Somebody called me a nigga, damn, like, thank you. Why? Because I know who I am, and that is not it. Not what you meant for it to be. I changed it because I know that in Nigas or Nagas is a king. Niggas. Right? So you can't let people trigger you to do things that ultimately is going to destroy you. Mm-hmm. And when you have self-control, and when you start to think, what was I thinking? Okay, the recent thing, the guy who got called a nigger, and he pound down this man. Remember this? This was recent in the videos. I mean, online, and he killed the man. He fell down, knocked his. Now his whole life is going to be messed with. You know, whether they lock him up forever or kill him, whatever they're going to do, but only because that one white, stupid, ignorant person used a word that we have so much hate and disgust for, that it triggered us. So if you're in a war, you can't let your enemy trigger you to get to where he's trying to manipulate your behavior. So once you learn who you are, other people's words and reaction or labels or definitions of you should not matter. I know it takes time, but that's the journey you want to be on. You want to know how much to love yourself and how not to let other people's point of view be more stronger than your own of yourself.
It's the gospel.
Yes.
It's the gospel. Thank you so much for that. It was
Yes.
so beautiful, so enlightening, and so deep and so true. Thank you.
Let's get the pre-orders in. Come on, y'all. This is for not only for me and my family as a legacy, but it's what I'm giving back to my people, my immediate family, my family tree members, and my family in the diaspora. It's for us. I'm hoping that's what I want to do. I want to give us something, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody that's going to appreciate my gift that came straight from my heart.
Straight from the heart to the pages, to your living rooms. Yes, indeed. So the link is in the bio. The link is in the description. The link is in arm's reach. You want to click that link and you want to place a pre-order so that you can get your hands on What Was I Thinking? Control your mind, control your world.
Thank you.
Okay, Mimi. So what I got to do here is I'm going to ask 2 questions, and I'm going to edit it back in before, because you already answered the questions, right? So I'm just going to edit that in, and then I'm going to sign out.
Okay. Tell me what to do.
So you don't answer the questions, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, you're going to put, I got you.
Right. So before we go, I want to ask you this one question. I want to ask you, what is something that anybody listening right now can do right here, right now, to start living a life by design instead of by default? And the second question was, okay. That was spot on. Thank you so much for that. Oh, man.
Yes.
Before we sign out, I want to give you the opportunity to have the last words. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with today?
Yeah.
No, Mimi, that's the second question.
Okay.
You already answered it.
All right, good. I'm sorry. Well, you got to clean it all up anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Again, a million times, thank you so much for not only embarking on this journey and actually writing this book and diving in and sharing your life and sharing this experience with me, but thank you for showing up here on the podcast, on the Moneymakers podcast, to give people the opportunity to tap into it as well. It's a tremendous blessing. And to everybody listening, as always, love, be well, and don't forget to have the guts to follow your guts. Peace.
Wonderful. Click.